I want to talk about the Bears and the Cowboys game. This game was frustrating for many reasons. First of all, I had I bet for the Cowboys to win, and that didn't happen. But besides that, which is my fault, I should never bet for the Cowboys. I know better. Yeah, I know better. But Caleb Williams playing the best game of his career. I mean, the first 2 weeks of the season, and most of last year we were nervous with him, but we thought it was the coaching staff. First 2 weeks of the season, we're like, oh, this isn't working. This relationship with him and Ben Johnson, this is doomed to fail. This is not going to work out. They couldn't get their weapons involved. Overall, this team just did not play with a lot of gusto. And then we have Caleb Williams, the stat line, 19 for 28, 298 yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. That's a solid performance. Now, consistency is going to be the thing. Can he do it next week? Can he do it next week? Can he do it the week after that? Like, he's got to do this throughout the season. We want to see this type of performance week in and week out. Now, I'm not saying you have to throw 4 touchdowns every game and throw close to 300 yards. That's not what we're asking for. We're asking for putting your team and your players in the position to win, and as the quarterback, giving your guys the opportunity to make plays and not making poor decisions. And I think he limited his poor decisions very well in this game. But does that say a lot about him and this offense, or does it say a lot about the Dallas Cowboys' lack of offense this week and purely bad defense? No matter how much they want to hide the fact that losing Michael Parsons was an issue, it's maybe not to them, but to everyone else, it's a glaring issue. It is. They don't have a pass rush. Just like I said before the season started, that trade puts your DBs in a vulnerable position because of how they play. They are ball hawks. They want to force turnovers. The thing is, though, when you play that kind of great example. The Baltimore Ravens traded for Marcus Peters a couple years ago. I think it was, I forget exactly when, but it was like early years of Lamar. Because what he was really good at was forcing turnovers for the Chiefs and for the Rams when he played. But once he started slowing down, getting older, and that skill wasn't there anymore, he was getting burnt over the top every day. Now, I still loved Marcus Peters, and I was so happy to have him part of our team. He made so many great plays. But once you start taking away that element of his game, you're like, oh, he's just he can't cover. He's not going to be that shutdown corner. He's not going to when he's playing Jamar Chase, he's not going to stop. It's just not happening. And that's what we saw today. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, all getting over top the DBs and that defense. And I said that was going to be an issue coming into the season, and this game proved right more than anything. And Ben Johnson, being a phenomenal play caller, he knew that was going to be an issue. So he was okay with calling a game that allowed Caleb Williams to air the ball out and really show his talent. I mean, this was, I think, the first real time in his career that we've seen why he was a number 1 pick. We've seen why there was so much hype going into him. We saw why he was getting those Patrick Mahomes comparison, which he's not Patrick Mahomes, but we're finally seeing why the comparisons came out like that. And it was a great showing. I think he should be very proud of himself, and I think this Bears team, the Bears fans anyway, can really look at it and be like, okay, this is probably our guy. Now, they've been fooled before. I mean, we've seen Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky both put out 3+ touchdown games and look like the best quarterback on the field. Like, we've seen those moments. So I know you don't want to overreact. I'm always heavy on you don't want to overreact to one performance, but you do want to highlight the goods from that performance, because that's something you can carry on to the next game when maybe he throws 2 touchdowns, but he still looks very proficient. And that's what you have to take away from this game. I don't know what Dallas is going to do. I think neither of these teams are still making the playoffs. I think they're just too much top competition at the top end. That's going to be hard for either of these teams to squeak in. I thought with Dallas's high-flying offense are going to be able to, but CeeDee Lamb is hurt. And today is Monday. after the games yesterday. Apparently, he's going for an MRI today, so we're going to find out how hurt Lamb really is. But we saw the immediate change with him off the field. I mean, Pickens is good, but Pickens is an emotional player, and it's hard to have a consistency with an emotional player. It's not, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think playing with a lot of emotion is really good, but it can kind of make you go up and down at times. And I think that's the real struggle with an emotional player, is that he can have some high highs, but he may drop a pass, or he may tip a ball to a defender. Like there's going to be certain aspects that is going to be really nerve-wracking. I think the run game is improved immensely from last year, but how good will Javonte Williams really do? We noticed once the game started getting into more of a pass-heavy game, it just they just couldn't put it all together. I'm not blaming Dak. I don't think Dak played bad. I think Dak's playing frustrated now, and I think losing Lamb really hurt, and I think it really it changed the game plan. It really changed how he goes through his progression, because that's his guy. That's who he wanted to hit. I mean, Jake Ferguson got a handful of load. I think by the end of the game, he had 11 or 12 receptions. He was just catching everything thrown to him, and he's going to be the main guy moving forward. So at least while Lamb's hurt. So anyone don't have Jake Ferguson on the fantasy team, or that he's a good starter for the next couple of weeks. He's going to get a heavy load of that off.